episode
38, I want to say.
Episode 38.
Ocean Waves. What's up? I'm going to look if there's any comments while I'm at this.
You can keep talking. I'm getting the levels right.
Weird. It's Memorial Day weekend here. Just turned 28.
Happy birthday, Ryan.
Hey, appreciate it.
It's Ryan's birthday podcast, actually.
Yeah, here we go. And I dropped the Navigator album out now.
Navigator.
All platforms.
Check it out.
Let me check this out real quick, and then I'll get to that.
Drifting away.
Yep, 37. Let's see if there's a comment on it.
Somebody
2 likes. All right.
Somebody commented on the Navigator full album you dropped on YouTube.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is fire.
Yeah.
And I said most definitely.
Okay, I didn't know we had a response there yet.
Yeah, I put one.
Hell yeah, that's fire. Yeah, I peeped that when I was sending it to I sent it to Benika, the full album.
Oh wow.
So I was like, that was the easy way for her to she could
just click
the link and listen.
Yeah.
So yep, send her that. Yeah. I feel good about it. How do you feel about it?
I love it.
Hell yeah.
I think you definitely did a great job, especially because you had pretty much did it all by yourself.
Hell yeah. And that's one thing that I felt like you snuck the little ad lib on there. It was necessary, but
every time you bring it up, you're always going to say that.
Yeah, because it's like, it's 99.9%, you know, but it's like, but it's perfect. So in the sense of that, I just really felt like I should have one of those where it's just like fully me. So now that I've done it, now I'm like,
well,
free
it makes sense though, because the song's like, "Hear my call," it's the one you want declined. It can't be you saying hello, because if you're making the call, I'm picking up by saying hello.
True.
I mean, so it's got to be.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
So, but I think there's like 2 ways I look at it. Like one way is like it's a very much an album of like hope, like the dealings of like emotions, feelings, and thoughts of like what hope is to me, right? And then on the other hand, it's like proof of backing up what I say. So I like earlier in the year, I was like, I want to catch up on the podcast, and then when I did that, it was like, what am I gonna do now? I was like, now I'm gonna finish my album for my birthday, and then your first was like almost a little skeptical in the sense of like, oh, there's only so much time.
Honestly, my honest opinion is that you wouldn't get it done, and it would come out 2 or 3 weeks later. That's what I felt. That's why I said, good luck.
Yeah, but that's just knowing the work it takes to get an album, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. Because at that point in time, from what I saw, I would hear like here and there when you'd make a song, but I didn't know, because I was so hands off. I didn't know how many songs you had, what it's looking like. I had no idea. So from my perspective, I was like, you probably have like 4 or 5, and maybe some beats. So if you're gonna make a whole album,
yeah, no, definitely makes sense.
You know, there's a lot in there, because you can't just.
But that was just like also a little drive. Like, all right, I'm gonna fucking.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I really wanted to get it done on my birthday, and because every year I say I'm gonna do some shit like that. I'm gonna put something on my birthday, and it never fucking happens, except for once. Yeah. It happened once, right? The song once, yeah. So, and it's like, but then when we get to the point where we sit down to mix, and you get to that, and it's like you could sit here and mix this for months and be like, try to get it so like perfect, right? Balance all the levels or whatever. But at the time, it was like you had to send it like at least 5. I guess 5 days was enough, so at least 5 days early. And so I had the songs, and I did a vocal. I did like,
they're faster now than they used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you send it in, it used to take longer.
Yeah.
I think because it got bigger, and they probably hired more people, the company, whatever.
True.
And became more established as like independent artists.
'Cause it took like 1 day to go through like the checks, and then it took like 2 days to go live.
Yeah, because it has to go through all the checks, because your distributor will take it and they'll try to find any problems before they send it in, because if they send it into Spotify and Spotify sends it back, then they have to come back to you, and it's all extra steps. It used to take them 2 to 3 days to actually look at the record and then see what was wrong. And they used to be more like have more problems. It was like, oh, don't do this, like all the regulations. And I think because of the expansion of independent artists and people using it, and then you also as distributors, you have to compete with other ones.
Yeah.
And other ones came out with better deals. That's why they had to change their pricing.
Yeah.
Because their pricing was bad. Even when like in the beginning it was just what it was. Then other ones came in. There was only really one other main one that had better pricing, but I was already doing what I was doing. And then
it was working.
But then so many popped up, independent distributors, that it's like, okay, you have to be able to compete with others. Because if people are leaving the thing, you're not making any money. So
Facts.
I'm glad I stayed because now it works out. I got all the things,
it's nice,
you know what I mean? Everything's in one spot. It would have been annoying to have. That's why I didn't want to do it. I want to have people like distribution over here and over here, and then I'm getting money from all these different things.
Mixing so many pots.
Yeah, I'd rather just it comes from here, and
Yeah. So I did like. Took me a couple days, and I mixed the vocals first, and I was just like, all right, I want to make sure I mix the vocals. That way, when I'm mixing, I can just be like balance the vocals to the track versus like hearing all the little intricacies. So I did that, and then it was last weekend, I think Friday I mixed like 2 songs, and then went to sleep. Woke up Saturday morning, mixed like, I don't know, 4 or 5. Or like 4, went to work, worked all day, came home, mixed till like 6 a.m. Then I'm pretty sure I did say like, wake me up when you're ready to work or whatever. But Jason took it as just wake me up.
Yeah, I didn't know you. Yeah, I didn't know that.
I did my best to make sure that Sunday morning when we were both ready to work, that I was ready. And that's what I did.
See, I woke you up, and then I was like walking around. I came to the studio to check on you, and you're just sitting there. I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
You're like, I'm waiting for you. I was like, I didn't know that.
But I definitely thought that I made that, like I said that like the night before.
It was not abundantly clear.
So, but then basically we hop in the studio, and then Jason hops on the sticks, and we grind it for, I don't know what, till like 4.
Well, we started at around like 1:32.
Yeah.
Right?
It was like 2 o'clock. Yep, p.m. on Sunday.
And we finished. We finally got home after the car listen at like 3:30.
3:30, yeah. So then
like 13 and a half hours.
Spent the next 11 hours after that, like doing one more like listen / bouncing everything in real time, and then like making sure, like writing all the lyrics down and blah blah blah. So I literally worked on it for like 24 hours, and then I sent it out at 2:30 like the next day on Monday. So I was like. Yeah. At this point, I was like, I've done everything I can, and now it is coming out on my birthday, or it did.
Sounds great.
And so at that point, it's now you can go look back on whatever podcast number that was, and be like, and you can see that like there was a time where I was like, oh, I want to catch up on the podcast and do that, and I did that, and then I want to do this album for my birthday, and I did that. So it's like this album was not so much. Here I am. I think I really was trying to get like to sound as good as possible, and this one was just like, this is what I have. This is the time I have. What am I gonna have at the end? And I think it's a beautiful product at the end.
I don't think we missed any steps. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like what we were saying. We were going through some of the songs. Like you could sit and go through every song and be like, oh, when we drop it here, let's put a riser here. Or let's do this or let's do that. And you could sit and be specific about the exact one. And you could go on forever, like technically adding little things here and there. But it's like sometimes it's just like this is what the song is. If it adds a significant thing to the record, then it's like let's do it. If it doesn't, then it's like there's no point of jumping through the hoops if it doesn't give it that difference. Even like small ones that we did do, which I actually will only say one because I want people to be able to go in there and catch them, is the line where you say all I really want, one taste, and then we put the one taste from that song in the background. It's a little bit of ear candy for someone who's listening. But then there's other ones that we dropped in there. Those are like those are ones that you could almost leave it or take it or leave it. Like it's a cool because you already get the reference. Almost on tape, that's already the reference. But to put that in there is like an extra layer to it, which you don't really need. But if you do it, great. If you don't,
it's just how you're decorating the cake.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, it was like I had been listening to these songs for weeks, like the scratch records, or like the records that I bounce when I'm in the studio for the first time. This is the energy I put into the song, bounce it.
Yeah.
So the songs already made me feel good already. But then it's like knowing you. Then it's like. You're trying to keep that feeling, but then also mold the other things, and like you're creating something new too. But trying to shifting demo-itis, but then also not doing too much where you lose
the feeling of the song.
Yeah,
I remember going back to the mixing of the Tide and the song "The Water." It's like the 10th song on there. I like the when I mixed it and I pulled all the bells and whistles and I polished it and I made it this thing. The record just didn't feel like it felt in the test one. Like the test one just had this rugged hi-hats, like just rugged, like it's not clean, it's just this rugged thing, and it created a feeling of the song. And so when I actually went down to it, I literally just pulled that one, just change levels a little bit of volume levels, and just that was it. I was like, I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna mix this because I just like the way it sounds
That's
like
just
this.
the
It
feeling of
feels
it.
the best
Yeah.
this way.
You know,
So it's a
and
balance.
that's the thing, because we're in this day where everything's so polished, but if you really think back to some of the best records ever are scratchy, you know? So it's like if you're working on this computer, and it's like, so a lot of it, like, you can polish it so up to the number of to the number, right?
Yeah.
Versus like just like the actual feeling of how it felt when you made it. Or
I think like a big pressure for as a musician, especially as an engineer, is like you want to meet industry standard because you want to meet this standard, but in reality that standard doesn't actually exist. Like there's a couple producers who are the biggest producers who will do it like this, and they're the standard because that's the way they do it, but they all do it differently.
True.
And nobody does it the same. Like, and because of that, there is actually no standard. It's just a matter of like the record should sit in this decibel range, and the highs have to be brought up. Otherwise, their record will get washed out, because if it's too quiet and the highs are too low, it'll sound, even if it's loud, if the highs are low, it'll just sound quiet. So you have to bring the highs up and sit in that decibel range, whatever it is. Because when I started to sit down, I was like, when the earlier records, I was like, why aren't they as loud as these records? Why is this not as loud as this? And then it's like, there's some tactics that they use that I don't really like to do. Like every single tweak of every single sound, when it's this way, you pull the little line in, and you drop this and drop this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is all no shade, of course, but it's like, I saw a Billie Eilish post where she was showing her vocals of one of the tracks. And because she like sings so quietly, because I've watched some interviews where she sings so quietly, those little jumps are like so significant. Like when a little louder noise where it's like a pop, it's like a hugely pop. So I saw her vocal track, and it was like, those yellow bars that you take the volume up and down. It was like, there was so much going on. Every little sound she made, there was something on it. And I was like, and she makes great music, right? The production is amazing.
Yeah.
Her brother's obviously an amazing producer, and whatever it is she's doing in there, she's doing a great job. But it's so overproduced. Because it is. It's like, it's so overproduced. Like every notch of every single thing is like it's on 10. Like but it makes, if that's what the record needs, and that's what the record needs. But in reality, that's not everybody has to do that same exact thing.
Yeah.
And what works for some people doesn't work for everybody. But I just figured out, said, okay, why is the record not as loud? So I pulled up Future, because I think overall, vocally and production wise, Future is probably one of the better artists to use an example for anything, because the records always sound amazing. His voice always sounds amazing. So I'll use a Future record. I pulled a Future record off YouTube. I downloaded it, used the YouTube ripper so you can get the song, because I needed the file. And then I pulled the file in, and I looked at it, and I was like, okay, where are the decibels at? Where are the ranges at? Where's everything hitting at? And I realized that it was sitting at 12 decibels. It's like in the max. And I was like, I mixed my last album at 9. Which that's why it was pushy. Like I forget what project it was, but that's why I was like, it was pushing that limit of like feeling clippy when you listen to it and you turn it up and you start mudding the vocals when you get too high. I was like, mine is at a higher decibel range, but it sounds quieter. And then I did a test, and I pulled the highs up, just as like, oh, I'm gonna pull the highs up. And then I went to go play basketball, and then I played the two songs, the one that didn't have the highs up and the ones that did, and the difference outside was just like, it was like night and day. Like how this record sounded so much quieter than this one. It was the same record because the highs were higher. So that's like the cheat code. It's like, you don't want to lose the lows in it, but if we mix the song properly to where all the balances are leveled, and you go into the master and you just bring those highs up, the record doesn't need to be smashing the limit. You just have to have those highs loud enough where it's going to carry. That's what I learned. So every time I go in there, I feel like my approach now is much more like, I know exactly what I'm looking for. I know exactly where we want the sounds to be. And then just finding the balance in the master and what settings I just already have ready, just to bring out the little things. I don't have to touch every single thing and to get it where it needs to be. So it's gotten a lot easier for me to do that. So going into your album, of that process, that in that space of it, like one, picking the records to like, let's do the max on it, like the one I say, like the hello, like hear my call, because it's like great foundation. The way that this record feels, it needs to be this airy, free flowing thing. And then going into the masters, I feel like the process was a lot smoother, and that's why I think it sounds so great.
Oh yeah,
overall.
For sure.
But that's just my little tangent about mastering. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So I'm definitely I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
I think it's a good. I think you can listen to them back to back, like Here I Am, and then the Navigator. You can just go.
I would like to do that.
All, what is it?
Sequentially.
1933 songs in a row.
Nice.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
But yeah, man. And you definitely have to get to that point where once you send it, you have to get out of the studio.
That's why I told you not to listen to it.
Yeah.
Like once you send it in, like don't listen to it.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Because the problem is like I'll do this even after the record's released. I still listen to things on the Guru, and I'm like, I could do that better. I could have done that better. But I remember going over, like, I'm not gonna say what record it is because I don't want to put it in anyone's head. But I remember going over the record, being like, nah, that's not, doesn't sound like it needs to be. Remixing it and being like, okay, like this is closer to what I'm trying to go for. But I don't know. Like when it came out in the final, I listened to it. I'm like, man, like that sound needs to be louder. That sound I felt like was important. I lost it in the mix.
Yeah, I think that's a crucial thing.
So you have to just
one sound can affect the entire record. So.
Yeah, but you gotta just let it go and let it be what it is, and then at the end of the day, I have the philosophy of just do better next time.
Yeah,
and don't double back because it's like if I was to double back and fix all the songs, I'd be still fixing the first songs I ever did.
Yeah. You never music out.
Yeah. Like you repolish the master.
I think that's the thing. It's like that. It's like what is perfection, and striving for this really unconceivable of what perfection actually is. It's like the only perfection is in my mind. Can you say that you did everything you could?
Yeah.
And if you did, then it's perfect because that's what you could have done. You couldn't do anything. Everything else is left for whatever. And in a world where it's so processed, that's why didn't Kendrick, he went back and he made, I think, what is it? Which one did he make? To Pimp a Butterfly. He made it on all like the old equipment.
I think so.
Like tapes and stuff like that. Because he just wanted to get that feeling of, because whatever it is, like the computers and everything from different, even just the simple fact of using like the programmed, like a program compressor versus like having a compressor that you bought and you're literally running all your whatever through this device. Whereas now it's just like it's still there, but it's like a program in this where you're losing. And that's why I think as time goes on, I want to get to the point where we can have like I want to be able to mix a song with my hands.
Yeah.
As well as my like instead of like the mouth, I'd rather be able to just like really move that decibel like that 0.1 or that point whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that's just something that like when we get there, we'll get there, whatever. But if I had that like whatever time ago, I wouldn't have like had the appreciation of what I could do.
It's like the thing is so much in like this is like the keyboard we have, those dials, they actually do work. The problem is that when I did install the right software to use it, when you boot up Logic, it takes like an extra 40 seconds. Yeah. And the amount of times I go in there, close it down, open it up, do all that, like I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna sit here for an extra like. How many 40 seconds would I have spent from that time, which was like years and years ago, to now? I would have lost like days of my life.
Thanks.
Like if you add it all up.
Yeah. So no, I agree. That makes sense. It makes sense.
So
that's why I want just like where you could just plug when it's in time.
Yeah.
You just kind of bring it out.
Once we can get like essentially expand the studio.
Yeah, but that just comes from
space,
time, energy.
Right place when you need it, because you don't want to overload yourself with equipment.
Exactly. Like, and that's the blessing about today's time is you can do it with almost so little.
You can make a whole album with a laptop and technically a USB microphone.
Yeah.
That's all you would need.
Technically.
Yeah.
You seen that one picture of like the kid who had his phone like hanging upside down on the charger?
Oh yeah, to fake the mic thing.
And the headphones, and he was like on his bunk bed.
I never saw that, but I've seen people do something.
It's okay. It was like. Mom like peeks in and the kid's just like screaming, like rapping to the mic, and he's got like headphones on and his phone is hanging like off the bunk bed by the charger cord.
That's hilarious. I think ever since the that color, whatever
color
it is.
space or whatever. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, where they hang the mic, that became like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Because I saw videos, it's like, oh, we need to do a hang the mic video.
Yeah, everyone just copies everyone else.
I know.
And that's the thing. You're right. There is no standard. It's just about
Because if you look at what was successful before, what's successful now, at the end of the day, like the only thing that you have, you can really break it down, is you have people who are owned by the industry, and then you have people who just they create art, and that's it. That's really it. And then the people owned by the industry, they try to create a standard to that these people have to conform, because at the end of the day, when these people get older and die, they need new people. They need new people to work the farms, essentially.
Facts.
Because now it's like streaming farms. I mean, they need new people in those spots. You have to have the Justin Timberlake. You have to have the Usher. You need those guys in those spots, because people have to be distracted by somebody.
True.
So it's always going to be somebody in there. They're always going to find, in the star part of it doesn't even matter, because they'll make them the star.
Yeah. And
everybody, like, look how talented it is. Yeah, like if you sit down right now, if we sat down with vocal coaches, if we sat down with dance people, choreographies, and we learned choreographed dances, we learned how to sing how they want us to sing, we learned how to do this, that, the other, then they could throw us on the talk shows, they could throw us in the things, they could put us in situations, they could do the
games,
they can make a star immediately. Like, it's not hard for them to do that.
Yeah. Especially nowadays with like Instagram and stuff, where you can just explode someone's like Instagram can basically put they're saying you don't follow this thing and then it'll pop up, right? Yeah. So it's like, so that means they can just put stuff on your feed. So it could be like this person. Boom.
But the caveat is, like, when the industry can make someone a star, they can also take it away from them.
Yeah.
And the people who are made stars not by the industry route, you can't take it away from them. Like Joe Rogan, no one can take it away from him, because he became a star in his own ways.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, he was on Fear Factor. Yeah, he did the UFC stuff. Yeah, this, that, the other. But because of all these different things he did in the avenues that he was into, like, you can slander him all you want, and people are gonna be like, nah, we fuck with Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
Like, fuck what you're saying. We don't believe you. But the people that we don't have that connection to, as soon as they say something about them, we're like, you probably did it.
Facts.
Because we don't love you. Like,
yeah.
And we don't, it's not the same. We know, in your heart the difference between the real and the fake. It's just that most people don't care.
True.
When that's the real one and that's a fake one. But most people don't care enough. And, like, the average person will just bump it because it's lit, or they'll watch it because it's the hot thing.
Or other people think, like, how many songs are lit because someone else saw someone else like it and they're like, oh, now I like this.
Instead
now you're
of
part of it. Especially in, like, party settings in, like, the clubs or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So where
this is about, like, finding the space, because there's gonna be a song that you, like, listen to when you first hear it and you're like, nah, that song sucks, and then, like, you hear it, like, a couple days later and you just were in, like, the wrong place. And then you're like, oh, this song is actually really good.
Yeah.
There's that one song. What was that one song? It was like something about, like, it was like the campfire, something about a campfire. It was at the old house.
We just trying to catch
good. Yeah, at first I was like, bro, like, this song is whack. Remember?
Yeah.
And
you and Tim both hated it.
Yeah,
Tim was like, I can't listen to it. He walked out.
But it's actually a great song.
Nico Moon is the artist.
Yeah. But,
I actually DM'd him on Instagram and he responded. So I was like, all right, cool. I fuck with you.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, you don't have to do that.
Yeah, true.
I just told him, yo, it's a dope song. Because my perspective on it is like, yeah, it's like this country hip-hop mix. I don't really listen to country. But it's a feel-good song.
No, it is good, yeah.
And so it's like, and if you look at the industry, most of the feel-good shit is like fake feel-good shit. It's not really. It's like fake inspiring. I like, oh man, I don't want to give an example, but a lot of those pop records are like they like I said about the sports thing. They want that energy to be here. So it's like, if they can pick an artist that you feel like is an empowering person, then they'll put the energy over there, because they don't want you to actually do anything. So a song like that, I feel like, is an actual feel good song that really does feel good. It feels like he's just trying to catch a good time, and sometimes that's what you need. It's not all about the conscious shit. But my biggest stance on that is that it's always the balance of conscious shit and party shit, but the party shit doesn't have to be fake. But now we also have fake conscious shit too. Like the rappers who just rap really fast, and then they might have clever bars, but they don't say anything. And people are like, oh, yo, they're dope as shit, but they don't say anything.
Yeah.
And then the ignorant or the party music people will use them as examples and be like, oh, well, like, they're just rapping fast, they don't say shit. It just appears like they're good because they're just saying a bunch of words, and And it's right. It's true because like on both sides of the fence, there's bullshit.
Yeah.
And some people will sell I'm a real, I do it like this. I'm a real one, da 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 da, because it can make the money. And some people will sell I'll make the party records. And some people can actually make good records like Future's a good example. I'm using him again. He can make records that are party records that are actually good records.
Yeah.
And there's a message in there.
True.
Whether or not people hear it or not. But I mean, I can't speak for him because it's his own space. But that's why I like him in terms of that, because I'd rather play his record than somebody else's where it's like, yeah. You know. And like what we were talking about Central C. I was like, his music is like everything he says, like, especially because we're American, so it's like, well, we're Western. Yeah. So it's like you have the accent thing in there, but if you listen to what he's saying, it's like he's actually saying stuff in his records, regardless of the routes. He's saying stuff in his records, so it's like that's why I respect it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't care what kind of music it is. It's just like if you mean something, you say something, and it means something, then you have to respect it because it's real. But if it doesn't, and you're just saying shit just to say shit, then how can you respect that?
True.
It's like we were talking about earlier with the chess. Like if I sat down with a chess player who's consciously making moves, it doesn't matter how good they are, I can respect their play, because you're making moves. You didn't move the knight because you're just like fuck it. You moved it because that was the best move in your mind. Yeah, that's a respectful player because you're actually intentional with what you're doing. But then somebody else who just goes, "Oh, I can play," and they start moving shit around. It's like I don't respect that. Yeah. You don't play. True. You're not a real player. For sure. It's like that in every industry. You hear the basketball players talk about it. I think it was it D Rose? Might have been D Rose. Maybe it wasn't D Rose. I don't know. It was a basketball player, and he was talking about how he's like, it's probably out of the 350 people in the league, it's probably 100 people that are actually actual ballers, and the other ones are they're there. Yeah. They were good enough. But he's like, but in his spot, if you're someone who's a real contender, it's like, I can't respect them because we don't do the same thing. Yeah. You're there for the glitz and the glamour, and you just happen to be good and athletic.
Yeah. Well, it feels like there's some that do, but I feels like not too many fake things that are not real in a sense make it a long way. There's some that last, yeah. And those are the ones that are honestly like the movie like Inside Out, where they have like the islands, like the core islands or whatever, like a lie or like something that was perceived was not true could be, and we believe it's true because of whatever. It could be like an island in our foundation of society, and it's like, so there's some that do make it through, but most stuff usually feels like artists or whatever, like this, like kind of like last like couple years, like they were popping for this long, and then it's like they branched to this new thing where it's like, but the people that are true or whatever, they last through lifetimes and generations. Right? Yeah, and
that's the thing. Not to take away, because you're right. Like, I bet you out of those 350 people, 325 of them think they're ballers. Like they really do, and you couldn't tell them otherwise. Maybe 25 are like, I don't really care. I'm just here to make money. Like honest about it, but they know that. But they know they can't say that because that doesn't look good. Mm-hmm. So they'll pretend. But a couple of them probably know, like, yeah, I'm just catching my bag. Like, yeah, I don't give a shit.
I'll make a couple of threes, play some defense.
Like if I want to win, I'll get some. I'll play if I'm in, but I'm not tripping. You know what I mean? Versus like LeBron James, and I mean this in the best way, is tripping. Like when he's on the court and you fuck up, he's tripping. Yeah. Because you can tell he cares about it. Yeah. Regardless of what anything else has to say, but he cares about that sport. You can tell. Yeah. So regardless of, like, Kobe's a great example. Kobe was an animal, just like so zoned in, like that. You can't do anything. That's what he's doing. He is that. He embodies that thing. He is what that is. So it's like, but then I'm sure there's some people who they would swear on it, and they'd probably die for it, because they believe it. They believe that they're this thing, but in reality, it's like, at the end of the day, if you're tall and athletic, people will push you into it. For sure. From a young age. So
I made the joke. I was like, if Amber wants to play basketball, I will help her play basketball.
Yeah, exactly. She's athletic and she's tall. So we already look at it because we're athletes. So it's like, oh,
like, if you want, we'll help you. Yeah. But I'm not gonna push her into it. Yeah. I also had a joke of like, forcing the kids to just be the band, like the musicians, and like 10 years from now, like all the musicians are all the kids.
Playing instruments.
It's like, but they're like all miserable because they don't actually want to.
Yeah.
I was like, nah, but if they want to, then we'll be there for them.
Yeah, of course.
Just put it. All you gotta do. I think as a job as like someone who's raising a kid, you have to just bring them to the opportunities.
Yeah.
To be like, because I remember like the first time that I played soccer, I didn't really like it. And then the next time I played soccer, I like loved it, and I played for all the way until there was no league.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it's like, but I was given the opportunity to do it, like to go out and go play soccer with whatever, and all the different things, whether it was music or whatever. So it was like just giving the kids like all these different things.
But there is something to say about this is another thing going into that of like when you having that thing to push you, because I think until high school we had that thing to push us, and by the time we got to high school we didn't have that anymore.
Yeah.
So like, and because if you go back and we look at our soccer,
and there's phases. Yeah.
If you look at us playing soccer, every single year we played, we were always the best people on the field. The only time we ever got whooped was that one team. Remember that I got thrown out of the game?
Yeah, when they all put up in one van. That was crazy.
Yeah, we were playing 35.
I remember there was like no team, and all of a sudden one van pulls up, the whole squad pulls out the team, and we got destroyed.
Yeah, and I got thrown out the game.
That was like the tough part is that what sucks is that I felt like in the era we were at, there was more talented kids around. Just like if they didn't make, like there wasn't enough kids that continued playing like club soccer.
Yeah.
Just like the kids who enjoyed it really, but then you very rarely had like it was like you could find any type of kid.
And then some of the systems that are set up are actually deterring. Like I remember one of my last years of playing lacrosse, I played on a summer team, and I was probably in either late middle school or early high school, I can't remember. And we played on a summer team that was all kids like in my age group, like whatever 9th grade, 10th grade, whatever that was. And that was on my team. But we played in a league that was like we're playing college teams. So we got people that are shooting like, imagine 4 or 5 years of if you're actually playing in college and you're working out and you're training at a level that you're not training in high school, and you go put them against some high school kids, and we would just get whopped because these people are strong. Because I played all the positions. When I was in goalie, they would shoot the ball and I wouldn't even see the ball go by me. Like it would just be like hits the net, and I hear a pop at the back of the net. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, this is serious. Like these guys are crazy. Like, we're not. I'm playing grown adults. And they're not letting up. Bro, so it's like that's a deterring thing, because when you're like, oh shit, I just got destroyed, and there's nothing there for you. It's not like, oh yo, in a couple years, like just keep up. It's just like we whop you and we leave.
Bro, I remember when I was like in elementary school, or it might have been like early middle school. It was one of like the neighborhood kids. It was like one of his birthday parties, and we went paintballing. And it was like all of us, and like the other team, they were all wearing like Navy and like Army camo, like straight up. Like assassins. Yeah. It was just us versus them. It's like, bro, there's no way these fucking 6th graders are gonna fucking.
Because it's like it's not traditional. But if you're a man and you're a real person, like anytime I was ever at the basketball court where I realized me and my people, it's unfair to play theirs, we split up. Yeah. Put a couple over there, a couple over here. We have make a fun game. Yeah. And we include everybody, because these kids can match up, we can match up, and that's that. But if we just whop them down, it's like, bro, this ain't fun. Yeah. It's not fun for anyone.
Yeah. I remember there was a time, I think for a lot of sports, like I had my speed, but I didn't get faster at a certain, like as I was growing. Eventually I hit my peak fastness. But in the beginning I was like so much faster than a bunch of people. So I remember there was one year in soccer where I scored every goal but one in the whole season. And the one I didn't score hit the crossbar and the kid put it in. And this was like 7th grade. So I was like, bro, I'm pretty good at this, like 6th grade or whatever. But then baseball, I remember I would hit the ball in the outfield, and I would get all the way to 3rd base, and then I would only get to 2nd base. And then once I only got to 1st base, that's why I realized, like, oh, this ain't for me. I'm not getting back. I can steal 2nd, but I'm not getting past. I'm not getting to the point where these kids are getting where they can bomb it or whatever. Like I'm not bombing it. I'm
once
just fucking.
Everyone caught up.
Yeah, and then my last year, the first practice, like, oh, whoever wants to pitch. So I did the pitching. Like, I joined it, and then I never got to pitch or whatever. And I didn't see it. I was like, oh, I never got to pitch. He's like, how can you do that? So I was like, I was there. When you made the statement, who wants to pitch, like, I was there. But you just didn't. Yeah. So I'm like, so at that point, I just stopped playing that's whatever. But then
bad coaches.
Yeah, but then soccer, like, it was just like I was always good, but then I could tell like I didn't get to that peak fastest where I'm like I can like depending on who's tired, who's not, is getting there. It's just like I'll run down the ball, but then eventually you get to the point where you're playing, where we got older enough where it was like the amount of kids that were playing with us weren't as like skillful. So it was like it's hard to really grab the ball and go all the way up the field.
Yeah.
Like in soccer, you really need someone to get the ball from there to over here and let me play with it. Or
Can't
whatever.
do it yourself.
But it was still mad fun. Like I feel like I remember realizing to myself, I was like, especially because Nick was doing like the soccer or whatever, like the actual team. I was like, bro, I could do this.
Yeah.
But then I would watch Nick and he wouldn't really even play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'm probably not gonna get there right away, and I'm only had this much time. When I had the realization, I only have this much time left. I was like, and do I really want to be like a soccer player? Like that's not really what I was going for. So I was like, I'd rather just play club because I'm playing the whole game, and you're just playing.
Exactly.
I'm actually just playing.
Yeah.
And even now, if there was I tried to do a league, and it was like you can only have 2 people under like 30.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, what?
Yeah.
I was like, where's the like, especially in this area over here, like there's kids that got nothing better to do. Why is there not an outlet?
Yeah.
You know?
I agree.
Where it's like you come home when you a 7-on-7 with your friends, and then the kids come back from college and they're drinking, now they're all pulling up. You got the little squads. Like people would do it. 100% agree. I think so. There's some sports that are harder, like football and lacrosse or whatever, because those are like very physical as well as like whatever. But like even like a little basketball league or whatever, like there's got.
I think soccer is good because it's spacious. You kick the ball, you don't have to be because. The difference, I think, not that is anything I get, to compare it, but I think if people who are uncoordinated with their hands, it's hard for them to do any sport that takes hand coordination.
Mm-hmm.
But if you play soccer, even if you just block a pass, you just play defense and you block, and you can't really control, but you can just poke the ball out, boot it up. It's like you can do something. We can put you somewhere. But if you can't like pass a ball in basketball, then you're useless. Like, if you can't pass the ball, you don't have to be able to shoot it, but if you can't pass the ball because you have trouble doing that, then there's nothing we can do for you.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're a great defender, you can swat the ball away, but you still need to get it and give it to someone.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to do that. If you can't, then
definitely
you're playing the wrong sport.
But definitely, it feels like there could be more outlets for people, and especially kids in that middle area when they're just graduating.
Fun stuff. I think that's why people coach.
Yeah, for sure.
I think that's why people like the dads and shit, they turn to coaching because it's like you get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But you're not in the game, but you're a part of it. Like you're around it still.
For sure.
So
shit, I'll coach.
I would be down to do that eventually.
But
thing is, around here in Georgia, a lot of when I was doing the research about the stuff, a lot of the leagues are like church leagues. Like where we grew up, it was like. There's like
it was like
leagues.
Yeah, and even like the small one, like the small community we had. Remember when we first played over here, and then we went over, and then it was like the big one.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I couldn't find that around here.
And everyone's the same color. Before when everyone had different color jerseys, remember?
Yeah.
I remember the one league like you were like Portugal and whatever. You had different like.
Was I?
No, just like in general, like they had different like countries or whatever, and then it gets to the point where you're this town.
Yeah, then it's you're fighting for your city, essentially.
Yeah. But
see, I can like all those sports. We won in basketball. As I got better at basketball, my teams got overall.
I won in soccer twice.
I won in soccer once.
And I was there when you won.
Yeah.
In basketball, I remember the year that I was like the assistant coach on your guys' team, and like the beginning of the season was like the rough beginning. I came like home, you guys just went on the streak and made it to the playoffs. And I had to come back from school the next week because of the playoff game.
Like, if I could go back, there's nothing I could do because if you take the way my life was and everything I was doing at that time, that led me to like into the music and stuff. But I think if I didn't like smoke as much and I stayed healthier, because I was so good at defense, like I was so good at defense, but I couldn't get back on. It
becomes to a point where if you're in one of those leagues, especially basketball is one of those games that, like for instance, soccer. Like, if you have Messi on your squad, yes, you have a way better chance. But he's also not dribbling the ball all the way up from the field. Yeah. Like, he's getting the pass, and then he's creating.
Some more help.
But basketball, like, Anthony Edwards can go in there and drop 50, 60 points. And, yeah, he needs to get a couple rebounds here and there. But this man, Luka Doncic, he can just score 63. So that man, out of the 100 points he scored, he's got 63% of them. And he needs all his other 8 teammates to score, like, 4 points.
Yeah.
Max. And they win. So, like... at the end of the day, it's like that game you can really be, so especially in a club league. If you got the only thing that limited is the amount of quarters you can play.
Yeah.
So everyone can play.
But we had a kid who quit because his parents didn't want us around us.
Yeah, that was
so we always got to play extra games.
But then now, every game at least 2 people are getting an extra quarter.
Yeah, I always played an extra quarter.
Yeah.
The only time I never did is when I fouled out, and I fouled out.
So now you are at that point. You are in a sense one of the game changers of the league or whatever.
Yeah.
And every team's gonna have like. It honestly sometimes it comes down to the 2 stars battling it out, and who got extra little support.
Yeah.
That gets the job done, So it's like.
But I won one of those.
We did.
Lacrosse was heartbreaking. We lost the championship.
That was heartbreaking.
Just to give the
we
recap,
lost in the second round of the playoffs after waiting out like a 3-hour storm, coming back to play and coming back, and we lost by 1. It was devastating.
See, that year, the year that we lost, my highlights were we were playing. I'm not gonna say the teams or whatever, but we were playing a team that was like an hour away. I got there late, which was already, and my coach was serious. Like it was middle school, but he was a serious, everyone knew who he was in the area, like a serious guy. It's like one of those things like why you still coach in middle school, you should go coach actual, like teams. But he just liked that because that was, I don't know, whatever. But and I got there late, which was already bad. Like you're supposed to be there 30 minutes before, do warm-ups, whatever. And I get there and we're already down like 3-0 or something. And the coach is pissed. I get there and the coach is like, coach doesn't put me in the game for a while because he's just like, you're late. Like, you sit over there. Eventually, we're down like 5-7, 5-6-0. Like, we're getting whopped by this team. And we whop people all year long. We were a great team. So I finally get in the game. We're still losing. We probably get to the point where it's 9-1. Like, we're getting destroyed. Like, and we had not been beat that bad all year. We were always beating kids up. And then my whole team is devastated. Like, they're all down. But I got there late, so I feel like I have something to prove. Like, I wasn't here in the beginning. I feel like it's my fault. Because I was a great player. So then I get the ball. I run up. I never really shot. I always got assists because I had great shooters. And I'd always get the assists. But I just whipped one from, like, pretty deep. Hits the goalie's pad, goes in. I'm excited because I assisted way more than I scored. So I'm excited for that. But the whole team's like, okay, whatever. Same deal. Get the ball again. Score again. Now I'm like, oh shit! I was like, come on, guys, we can do this. I just scored 2 back-to-back. Like, let's go. Now it's like 9-3. Then I assisted this other kid who scored a lot. He scored. Now he's getting a bit more hype. Then I passed to him. He assists our main scorer. He scores. Now it's 9-5, and we just keep this comeback going. Eventually, gets like they score a bit, we score a bit. We get to overtime, and then we win in overtime. And then now we're all lit. Like we came back from 9-1. And I thought I was going to get the game ball that game, and they went to somebody else. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, I started this. Like, I brought us back from the start. Like, I was the one who hyped everybody up because everyone was down. But it didn't matter because we won. We won. Fast forward to the championship. We're down, I think, 4-2. I think we scored one. We got 4-3. They have the ball, shooting. They shoot. They miss. I'm behind the net, so whoever's closer to the back gets the ball. And the ref says, 10 seconds or whatever. So I'm like, oh, shit, the game's about to be over. So I carried the ball up the entire field, bob and weave through the people. I did not pass it to anybody. Ran up the entire way of the field. All that was left is our best scorer on the team. Complete hands down, he was the best scorer. 2 defenders, and then I'm running up. I fake a shot. They both slide to me. Passed it to our best scorer. He goes like this. He turns too early, and he missed the pass. But 99% of that, if he caught that and scored it, we would have scored. We would have tied the game, and then we lost the game. As soon as the ball went out of bounds, they blew the whistle, and that was over. And me and him were the most devastated people.
Yeah.
Because I was devastated. Because I knew the odds are if I shoot it from there, it's probably going to get saved.
Yeah, no, the play was the pass.
It was the best play. Like, we did the best thing. He just turned too early. But 99% of the time, he's making that play. All year long, he's making that play. Just when it counted, he just missed it, and that was that. And him and I were probably the most beat up about the loss. But that was the closest I ever got.
Which is the beauty of sports, though, right there.
But honestly, in all retrospect, when you look back on it, I'm glad because I won. We won in soccer, and I scored in the penalty kicks in the championship. I scored mine after missing mine the week before. So that I was like, oh shit, like I have to score this one.
I remember us talking about it afterwards and like being like, okay, what to do, and I was just like, just get it on net. Yeah. I was like, no matter how you saves or not, just make sure it's on net. Yeah. That's it.
So then we scored that. So we won that. So I won soccer. We won basketball. Never won lacrosse, even though I got close. But I got that feeling of like I lost the championship.
You're on a good team. You had that morale. Yeah. You had that chance.
And to be fair, the team we played, we were a C team, but the team we played they didn't have any of that because their community was smaller. So it was a mix of all the players. So Which, to be fair, our team was kind of like that too, because we had really good players. Like in future years, kids who went on to play in the high school and
they were on the team.
Whatever. So it was like it's whatever. But yeah. And then I remember playing the other team because there was the two rival teams in our own school, and we beat them like every time we played them. There's like other kids in our school and shit.
Facts.
But sports is great. I think that they need more ways for people to play it.
Yeah, I think it would be better if it was acknowledged. If people would acknowledge who like the Kyries, if the Kyries were actually considered like the best.
The thing about I don't like about the professional sports is it's the media.
True.
Media just makes it worse.
Yeah, it's.
If you just let, and then the refs, because it's all rigged. I'm sorry, it's all rigged. I mean, the refs are gonna do what they're gonna do. If you let the players play, I would respect it.
Yeah.
When I'm playing high school, and I'm playing middle school, and you're playing elementary school, and you're playing outside, in the neighborhood, ain't no fucking ref. I mean, there's refs in the leagues, but the refs aren't controlling the game.
Yeah.
The refs call the plays
because $20.
Yeah, because they know the coaches will come yell at them if they do some whatever. The coaches in the league have no control. Those refs can be like, get out of here.
Yeah.
And yeah, they can do that in this, but it's like it doesn't matter. The refs don't have anyone hired to answer to. These refs are paid by the NFL. That's all you need to know. They're paid by the NBA. That's all you need to know.
Facts.
They're not. It's not a private organization that referees sports.
True.
That would be better.
That's actually a good idea.
It's like these guys go and they ref the games. They don't have no connection to the NFL.
And then the younger leagues are literally Peyton told me he started umpiring baseball. He's thinking about going down to like the school in like Florida or whatever, and like really getting into it. I was like, bro, that's
being a real ump.
Yeah. So I was like, so there is a pathway for things, especially baseball. There's all those leagues. There's all those different leagues or whatever.
Yeah.
But literally, it could be as if there was a standard. This is what it was.
Yeah.
And then kids or people who decide that's what they want to do.
It's just the problem is big business, and that's why and people used to say about college, but college is the same way. It's big business.
Dude, yeah, they just passed that they're allowed to pay players now. It's over with.
Which I think that should have been done a while
Amateur
ago.
sports is
high school
out the window.
It's high school.
Yeah.
And even the high schoolers make money too.
I think this is the thing. I think that if they're on the team, they should be able to go to school for free. Yeah. And
eat for free.
And then if they make whatever money they make off their name, they should be able to use they should get a split. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I think and maybe you get it when you finish college. When you finish your degree or go to the NFL.
Sure.
Or the league, whatever. Whenever either go to the majors, whatever the major is, or you finish. That way if you don't make the majors, at the end of it you collect your money.
True.
So you get your way paid, and maybe you get some money in the summer. They say this is what you get for the summer.
Yeah.
But they're not handing you a shit ton of cash at the spot. It's like, oh, I need to finish my degree.
So I think there's a thing that's like having like knowing like where I was in high school to where I was at the end of college. Like I'm sure that's the same approach for even in sports. Like some people are ready to go at 18, and some people need to be 22 or 23. Yeah. So it's like, but if you get the money already, you might lose that. You know, that drive, that motivation to do it.
In the space of who you're around and how you handle all that.
I'm down. We can end this one.
Yeah, I gotta take a leave.
Yeah.
So
but what should the ending comments? Yeah.
Even going into that is like, for the music. Back when I was like 18, I would probably tell you that I'm ready to like be in the big space or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then like, and even that first time I performed, I had a great performance.
Yeah.
But just all the space around, like mentally, emotionally, being able to understand everything, I wasn't ready for.
Yeah. If you're honest now,
for all that,
you can see that like, oh,
yeah. The actual art of it, I feel like I was always ready.
Yeah.
But what comes around it,
but what comes with it, 100%.
And even closer to now, it's like, of course, I feel the same way. I feel like, oh yeah, if it came, I'd be able to handle it. But there's probably things I don't see now that by the time it does come, that I'll be like, oh shit, back then
I'm glad I was
here.
here.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks. So, but yeah. So, all right, Navigator.
Jason doesn't hate sports.
Out now.
Yeah, Navigator out now. Go check it out.
Ocean Waves. I'm gonna double up. We'll have 2 episodes next week, so we'll catch back up. But
yeah,
thanks for watching. Go stream the Navigator. Appreciate anyone who watched.
Sorry for anyone who was looking forward to it and missed it.
Episode 38.
Got son the guru, baby.
Indigo Ryan the Navigator. Other side, I'm falling through the lines. It's up to me this time, and I don't wanna lose control. Barely holding on, find hope that keeps
keeps me going. The darkness taking over. They want me dead and gone. I'm from the other side. I'm falling through the lines. It's up to me this time, and this time we gon' light the road. Make my peace and song. This path I'm walking on only leads to glory. A never-ending story. Running through the system and I'm flying through the speed.